new. Israeli rocket strikes continue to fall on Gaza, which the IDF warns will be the target of an integrated and coordinated attack from air, sea, and land, saying they plan to focus their attack on Gaza City. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu promising Israeli infantrymen on the Gaza border that, quote, the next stage is coming. Secretary of State Antony Blinken continued to pursue diplomatic solutions today in the United Arab Emirates as the State Department tells non-emergency U.S. government officials to leave Israel now. The Israeli government is reporting that 43 countries are represented by those murdered and missing. At this hour, NBC News is reporting that at least 1,300 people have been killed in Israel. In Gaza, at least 2,161 have been killed. Joining us now to discuss the latest information from the Israeli Defense Forces about their next moves is the spokesperson for the IDF, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Conricus. Welcome to you, Colonel. First, let me just start with, you have said that the next stage will be a major escalation. What is the timeline for that, and what does a major escalation look like?
Yes, it wouldn't be, first of all, thank you for having me. Of course, it wouldn't be wise to advertise the timeline, but what I can say is that we are going to dismantle Hamas and its military capabilities to make sure that at the day that this war ends, which was forced upon us and we didn't choose this war, but when it ends, Hamas will no longer have the ability to threaten or kill Israeli civilians ever again.
You say that you don't want to publicize a timeline. I understand that. But has the offensive, has this major escalation already started?
No, it has not. What we are doing is, as we speak, there are rockets that are being fired from Gaza at Israel. I personally was in a bomb shelter a few hours ago when rockets were fired towards Tel Aviv. So Hamas is still firing rockets all over Israel. They continue to launch terrorist attacks or to attempt to exit the Gaza Strip towards Israeli communities. Those attacks are being thwarted, but it's still an active combat zone on the ground as well. And as we speak, we are actively striking Hamas targets from the air. And as the video is showing, from the ground as well, but mostly from the air, we are targeting commanders, Hamas commanders, operatives. We're targeting their infrastructure, their financial capabilities, their logistics, and frankly, anything that has a military importance for Hamas, that's what we're targeting. Now, regarding the next stage, what we have tried to do in order to prepare for the next stage of intensification of our operations is to get civilians out of the way. And we have called upon civilians in Gaza, in Arabic, 24 hours ahead of time, more than 24 hours ahead of time, please vacate northern Gaza and go south. Do it for your own safety, because you are not the enemy and we are not looking to strike you. It is my hope that these Gazan civilians will indeed, as the map shows, go from the red zone to the yellow zone. And by doing that, they will enhance their own security and have a better chance of getting out of this war alive.
Lieutenant Colonel, this is Ayman. Thank you so much for your time. I was wondering if I can just clarify a point, sir. Is the objective of the military, the Israeli military right now, to destroy Hamas once and for all, or is it to rescue the hostages that are in Gaza?
Yeah, you touch upon, I mean, you're right in touching upon a very, very delicate dilemma that we have. We're in an unprecedented situation with more than 130 confirmed hostages whose families have been notified by the authorities in Israel, something that we never dealt with before. We know that Hamas planned this in advance, so we know that they have taken steps to hide the whereabouts of those hostages, these women, children, elderly, babies, and even a Holocaust survivor that are being held by Hamas. And while it is our top priority to get them back, the aim of the operation is to dismantle Hamas and its military capabilities.
And thank you very much for clarifying that. But if right now, as you say, your goal is to destroy Hamas once and for all, do you know whether or not the hostages, as reported and as claimed by others, have been killed as a result of this bombardment that is going on and this destruction of the northern part of Gaza?
Yeah, listen, the source of that information is Hamas.
Yeah,
They're
that's why
the
I'm
ones
asking
who-
you if you have any information about it. Yeah.
No. So any information coming out of the Gaza Strip from Hamas, I think everybody should treat it with a very high level of suspicion. I'd like to remind that Hamas, I think on the second or the third day of the war, when we were started to fire from the air, Hamas put out a statement saying that we are going to execute hostages if you don't stop targeting our facilities. So if you put those two things together, that they now claim that there are dead hostages and before said that they're going to start to execute them, in my mind, the logic is that if the hostages are dead, it was done by Hamas. And in any case, I wouldn't trust a single word that they say.
Mr. Conricus, Al Sharpton, when you said that the people in the area in Gaza are not the enemy, Hamas is, when you look at the fact that they are, in many cases, out of gas, out of fuel, can't move, their bridges closed, have you factored in with your timeline that you're talking about people who you say are not the enemy, are in fact in real danger of being killed or harmed because they just can't physically do what has been prescribed by your forces?
Yes, we have. And I would like to elaborate on that because I think it's very important to make that abundantly clear. We take many steps in order to minimize the impact of warfighting on civilians. We base our strike on intelligence, on specific live updated intelligence whenever Hamas operatives appear anywhere, or based on previous intelligence that we have. Those are the locations that we strike, and we have a very good awareness of the locations of sensitive facilities. And in short, we are doing everything we can to do the right thing, to fight Hamas, the enemy, and not the civilians.
Mr. Conricus, before we let you go, I mean, there's two questions. One, it was reported earlier by our NBC News colleagues that there was an agreement reached between Egypt, Israel, and the United States to allow Americans to pass through that border between Egypt and Gaza. Our NBC News colleagues are on the ground, and they're reporting that that border has yet to be open. Will the border open soon? And secondly, I understand you all are citing your concerns about the civilians, but it begs the question, are you all in the process of establishing a humanitarian corridor to allow UN workers, food, fuel to come in, medical supplies?
So regarding your first question, what we've seen in the Gaza Strip is Hamas taking active measures in order to undermine and stop the flow of Gaza from the northern part of the Strip towards the south. They're actively undermining the evacuation efforts and putting civilians at risk. Why do they do that? Because they want the civilians there, and they want the casualties, and they want the atrocities for their political purposes. And I think that is beyond shameful. But for an organization like Hamas, nothing is beneath them. Regarding the situation in Rafah, I heard those reports myself. I understand that it was the Palestinian side of the gate that wasn't open. And that is, of course, just like everything else in Gaza, controlled by Hamas. They are responsible for the war. They are responsible for the consequences.
IDF spokesperson Jonathan Conricus, we're going to follow up on this claim with our colleagues about that side of the border. Thank you very much for your time.